Welcome to the Glynn Academy Coaches Show with head coach Rocky Hidalgo. Brought to you by Coastal Appliances, Island Automotive, Somerset Mortgage, The Emerald Princess, Bruce Kennedy Tire, Apple Care Immediate Care, Misty's Element Massage, Jenkins Nissan, and by Loco's Grill and Pub. Now here's the voice of the Glynn Academy Red Terrors, Kevin Price.
Welcome to the Glynn Academy Coaches Show with head coach Rocky Hidalgo on the Bishop Media Sports Network. I'm Kevin Price. We're on location at Loco's Grill and Pub. We are here each and every Sunday night at 6:30 for the entire season. This segment of the Hidalgo Show is sponsored by Island Automotive, Coastal Appliances, the Emerald Princess, Somerset Mortgage, Bruce Kennedy Tire, Apple Care Immediate Care, Misty's Element Massage, Jenkins Nissan, and also Loco's. Now with us is the head coach of the Glynn Academy Red Terrors, Coach Rocky Hidalgo. Coach, welcome to the show once again.
Hey there, how we doing?
Good. And of course, just in case anybody missed it, the Glynn Academy Red Terrors fell this past Friday night over in Douglas to Coffee County 28-7. The loss drops the Red Terrors to 2-2 overall and 1-1 in Region 3-5A. And Coach, if you will, just give us some of your general thoughts on the game, and then we'll back up and I'll elaborate and ask you some questions and let you elaborate.
Well, you know, it was in some ways it was more of the same. We moved the ball well on offense and kind of got down the red zone and had some mistakes. Had a couple of holding calls, a turnover. Defensively, you know, they're very good on offense. Their offensive line's very good. I've said this 1,000 times. Working on our fits and finishes. I don't think we tackled well in the secondary and gave them some big plays back there. We've got to do a better job of kind of shoring up the back end defensively because we didn't challenge enough balls when they were thrown, and we didn't come up and tackle very well in that respect. I thought our special teams played better. I thought we did some really good things on special teams throughout the night. For the most part, with the exception of a missed field goal. I thought our offensive line played really well. I think they did some good. Garrison Hurd ran the ball well for us Friday night. I think our defensive line played really well. Against a tough draw versus Coffee County, very good offensive line. We've got two young inside linebackers who are freshmen and sophomore. I think both those guys played really well. They played hard. Made some mistakes, but, you know, a freshman and sophomore, they're going to make mistakes.
And Coach, I know when we were riding home, we were just like, what if this would have happened? What if that would have happened? What if this would have happened? And I say that because it seems like you're almost there, almost ready to kick the door down. You just need to do it. Is that kind of where you are? You just got to learn to make some plays, make some key plays, or get a key stop or a big drive or something just to push through there and win games like that.
You know, we have a lot of young kids who are playing for us, and there's an old adage in high school coaching that for every sophomore you play, you count that up as a loss. You know, we're playing quite a few sophomores, and those guys are learning on the fly out there, and that's no excuse for everything. But we've got a lot of young players, we've got a lot of juniors who've never played before, doing different offenses and defenses. So, you know, I think some of the mistakes are expected. I'm a little disappointed that we've had some opportunities to make some plays and we haven't made some. We've probably dropped too many balls, put too many balls on the ground. You know, I think you can look at us and if you watched our games carefully, you've seen that. I think we did a better job holding on to the ball. Some of the things we went into, points of emphasis, I think our ball security was better. I think if you watched our ball carriers, watch them on tape, we carried the ball high and tight. We were very conscious of where the football was. So we were better in that respect. I felt like our offensive line and defensive line play was better. I think we really played on the line of scrimmage defensively very well. But, you know, we're just making too many errors in the secondary. Offensively, we're still having too many miscues, execution errors, opportunities where we drive down the field and we miss a block, and we just haven't found that consistency yet. But I think if you watch us, we had plenty of opportunities to take advantage of that, what they were doing, and put some points on the board, and really make it a game and keep it a game, and just couldn't follow through on it. So I do think we're really close. I think if you watch us, I think we're close. But at some point in time, I think it's probably come like a waterfall. We'll just kind of come over the top, and we'll just have one night where everything kind of clicks, and hopefully we'll be through with it.
No doubt about it. This is the Glynn Academy Coaches Show with head coach Rocky Hidalgo on the Bishop Media Sports Network. And Coach, you certainly mentioned moving the ball. They moved the ball up and down the field in the first half, but you were right there with them, but you had the holding call on the fake field goal attempt. The next drive, you had the fumble that ends the drive deep in their territory right before the half. And, of course, you also had a drop pass that probably could have went for a touchdown early in the second half. So just if any of those three things possibly go your way, certainly if all three of them go your way, it's at least a different ballgame.
Yeah, it is, and and it's woulda, coulda, they say, almost counts in horseshoes, hand grenades, and nuclear warfare. I mean, that's what it counts. So we've got to come through and make those plays, and part of it is emotionally. We need one of those plays. We need somebody to come up, step up, and make one of those plays because we have to play with emotion and something that we're lacking right now. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I think it's probably a lot of our kids just have to believe that they can do this and they can go and beat a team like Coffee, and they just have to keep trying. Eventually, we'll do it. I mean, I watched Mississippi State beat LSU, diehard LSU fan, and Mississippi State had not beaten any of the big teams in the West, and they did it Friday night, and I mean it's like they burst through a barrier, and everybody knows them all. We got a really good football team. People who played us, Coffee County, Camden County, heard from a lot of guys. A lot of coaches who really, they go, Coach, you got a really good football team. We have an opportunity to have a good team, and when we start making those plays, when we start holding on that football, when we keep our hands within the framework, make those catches, and I think we will. I think we've got a chance to really get in the playoffs and make some noise this year. I think we can win out the rest of our games and still have a chance to host a home playoff game. But we've got to believe that we can do that. We've got to go out there and make it happen. We've got to make it a reality.
Now, talk about your offense. Obviously, you went right down the field and you scored after they, had the opening possession of the game and they kicked the field goal. And like I say, you moved the next two times you had the ball as well. Just had the hold call on the fake field goal attempt, and then also the turnover there at the end of the half. But what we saw on those drives is the kind of offense you want to have if you can avoid the turnovers and the penalties that kind of put you behind the chains. Y'all are moving fast, methodical, and just that's kind of the offense you want to put on display, correct?
Yeah, it's something we want to go and we want to take what the defense gives us, and we want to be a dynamic on offense. We want to throw the ball around. We want to run it when we have to, and get our athletes out in space and let them make plays. We're right now, we've got every play, we've got about 9 or 10 guys who are doing a great job of doing something, and we have a miscue. A lot of our plays, we have a miscue where we've made a mistake. And that's the thing we've got to cut out, the consistency. And that's kind of something we carry on. We're still working on formulas, the right formula, how we want to practice to get that stuff done. So, I think it'll come. Hopefully it'll come Friday night versus Richmond Hill.
All right, there's more to come on the Rocky Hidalgo Coaches Show on the Bishop Media Sports Network. Right now, these words from our sponsors.
For all of your automotive repair needs, visit Island Automotive, 1950 Demery Road, across from the fire station on St. Simon's Island. They're a family-owned and operated business that has been delivering great service not only to St. Simon's, but to all of Southeast Georgia for over 25 years. Your complete auto repair and auto detailing facility. Online at islandautomotivecenter.com or at 912-638-0888. And go Terrors! Coastal Appliances is your one-stop shop for Whirlpool washers and dryers, Whirlpool refrigerators, and so much more. Coastal Appliances offers free delivery and service after installation and have also been in business for over 30 years. 4727 Altama, next to Sonic, and on the web at appliancesbrunswickga.com, or give them a call at 912-267-0132. Coastal Appliances, Glynn County's only specialty appliance store.
Hop aboard for Texas Hold'em tournaments, roulette, poker, lots of slot action, food, music, and more. Labor Day weekend, Sunday, August 31st, 7 p.m. Cruises depart from Brunswick, Georgia. Call 800-842-0115 or visit EmeraldPrincessCasino.com. Must be 18 years of age and present a government-issued photo ID to board.
I'm Jenkins Nissan.
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 I am Jenkins Nissan.
I'm Donnie Jenkins. We're all Jenkins Nissan, and together we want to show you just how easy buying and servicing your car should be. So please, stop by and experience the Jenkins Nissan difference. Look for the red and white Nissan tent at the corner of Chapel Crossing Road and the Spur, or visit us online at jenkinsnissanofbrunswick.com.
Welcome back to the Glynn Academy Coaches Show with head coach Rocky Hidalgo on the Bishop Media Sports Network. I'm Kevin Price. We're on location at Loco's Grill and Pub on St. Simon's. This segment brought to you by Island Automotive, Coastal Appliances, Jenkins Nissan, and the Emerald Princess. And Coach, let's just pick up with the coffee game where we left off. Offensively, like I say, you did move the ball in the first half, just unfortunately could not cash it in and get some points. But what was the difference between the first half and the second half? It looked like to me they just got a little more pressure on Lamper and kind of had him running around a lot more, and y'all just couldn't really get settled in like you wanted to.
But, yeah, they did a good job. Their defensive front's very good. A lot of big kids. They did a good job against the run. We had some opportunities in the passing game, and it just kind of comes that progression about learning, where to distribute the football and do some things like that. We missed some opportunities. They were playing a lot of man-free against us, and we had some guys, and we just couldn't make it, just couldn't connect. And the same thing, we had some penalties here or there. We can't start drives with 1st and 15 every time and expect to get first downs. We had some, we had some wide receivers that weren't set on the snap of the ball, and put a guy in motion, had two guys in motion. So we had some of that going on. We just got to make sure we cut out those mental errors, and to me, that's about focus and discipline. We preach that to the kids every day about focus and discipline. And what's disappointing is we really had our best practices we'd ever had last week. I mean, they were our best practices, and I thought we were going to come out and really play great, because Tuesday and Wednesday were the two best practices we ever had. And I think our JV team went out and played great, the best game they played on Thursday, and I thought it would carry over Friday night, but I don't know if it was the bus ride or whatever. We just didn't really. We just made too many mistakes.
But one positive on the offensive side was LaShawn Clark. I think he had 6 catches for 15 yards. He had the one drop, I guess, on the first time y'all threw it to him on the second down on your first possession, but I think he pretty much caught everything the rest of the night. He's one of the guys that changed positions. I guess he was a running back previously, and y'all moved him out to wide out, and he's certainly starting to look good out there and gaining some confidence.
Yeah, I think the best thing about Sean is he's obviously performing well, but he was a kid that he had some struggles early and really has bounced back. I'm really proud of him. There's a lot of kids I'm proud of on the team, but I'm really proud of him because he battled through some adversity at some times. He wasn't playing well early, really put some time in, devoted himself, and has just done a great job of turning around and has become one of our steadiest guys on offense.
And obviously their offense, they did a good job. I know they're pretty much a run-first team, and they did a good job of mixing the run and the pass. But y'all were able to slow them down at least in the second half and give you a chance. What was the difference between the first half and the second half?
Well, I think our fits on defensively a little bit got a little better. We really challenged our kids to come up and challenge them, be more aggressive, especially in the passing game. Again, we had a couple of blown coverages that didn't help us, but our kids responded. I think our front played really well, and I think our outside linebackers picked it up and played better in the second half. Our front seven, I think, for the most part, played well, in especially in the second half of the game. We just got to carry it over to this week versus Richmond Hill.
And the big tight end who's going to Florida State, if I looked at the box score correctly for their stats, I think going into that game he only had like 6 catches on the season. And had 6 the other night for a couple of touchdowns. But did they maybe utilize him more than they had previously?
Yeah, they did. He played a lot more offense than he had prior to Friday night. Look, he's 6'6" or 6'7", or he might be 7 foot tall. He's a big dude out there. The guys we got covering are about 5'9", 5'10". But that being said, it was not a matter of him just making a play over the top of him, which is what you hope if a guy beats you because he's better than you. It was really his catches came down because it was execution errors, and that's what's disappointing. If we'd have had somebody to defend him at those positions and he just makes a play, we can move on with it and I can live my life if they beat us because they're better than us. But it was mistakes that cost us those points. And he had 3 big catches, really 4 big catches. One on a 3rd and long on the screen play where we missed 3 tackles, had him stopped, and he broke a long play. Another one came out of the backfield. We just missed the coverage of the 2 where they lined him up, and we should have been matched up on him, and for whatever reason we kind of blew it, and both of them led to touchdowns.
Now talk about your decision to go for that fake field goal. I guess obviously that's probably a play y'all have in y'all's arsenal, but was there anything that y'all saw on tape during the week that you knew if we could get in that situation that you would try that? And obviously you had the yards necessary for the first down, and then you had the holding call. And I guess that's possibly one you agree with because you went out and hit the kid's head on the helmet who committed the penalty, and just probably a hustle kind of play.
It was when you want. I didn't necessarily think it was. I was tapping a kid who did it. Hunter Hall's a freshman. He was really disappointed, and he's done a great job for us going in and playing linebacker. And I was tapping him on the head to tell him to get over it, don't worry about it, and move on. I mean, it's for a 9th grader to go out there and play on Friday night's a big deal. And then for something like that, we needed him to play on defense. We needed to go out and compete. I didn't want him getting down on himself because it was a big play in the game. Hunter's hands got a little bit outside the framework. I think if you watch the video, I'm not sure he had any impact on the play. If he hadn't blocked the kid, we still probably would have gotten what we'd have gotten. But it is what it is. We try to teach our kids to keep their hands in the framework, and frankly, they were aligning differently against us than they were on tape. So we had to change the blocking scheme a little bit. So Hunter had to go out and block, so it was something we hadn't practiced him doing that. So just to defend him a little bit, it was not. I walked over before the game and told him if we run the play that you've got to make sure that you get out and block the guy. He did a good job. He went out there. Just it is what it is. That was a huge play because. We were going to be first down, deep down their territory, but it's always great when you fake a field goal. I like doing things like that, faking kicks, and want to do more of it. We get opportunities.
And Coach, I know you're not going to comment directly on the officiating, so unless you want to, you can. But it seemed like to me, a lot of times there were plays going. I'm going to ask you like this: a lot of times there were plays going, let's just say to the left, around left end. And the holding call would be made on the right side of the line of scrimmage, or so it seemed by one of the officials on the backside. And I know the White Hat probably set a record for flags thrown in the game because he sure threw a lot of them, or maybe led the state in flags by the White Hat that night. But I've heard officials comment before, and maybe this is not right, but if a holding call won't affect the play directly, they won't call it because you can call possibly holding all night. And it seemed like to me that was kind of the situation Friday night. The play's going one way and the holes on the other side of the field, and whoever it was against maybe didn't even have a chance in chasing the play down even. Can you comment on that?
I lived my life under the old adage, you did nothing, deny everything, make counter accusations. So I'm going to defer. My athletic coordinator is over there telling me to stay quiet. I'll just keep it up. It was one of the. Football's a tough game. It is. You can call a holding call on every play. It's disappointing that's had such a huge impact the last 2 games. But we've got to work. We've got to do a better job not giving officials the opportunity to do that stuff and keep our hands in the framework. And we just got to work harder. I mean, at the end of the day, we've got to work harder. We've got to do a better job as coaches and figure out why we're getting those calls and coach our kids not to do those to change those behaviors.
Okay, so obviously those calls are being made against you, and I know y'all are probably teaching blocking and tackling and everything correctly. But is there anything that maybe your kids are actually doing that's being misinterpreted or whatever?
Well, what you do is if a kid's hands get outside the framework, which they say outside the framework is outside, kind of outside on shoulder pads, you run the risk of getting called for holding. So we teach our kids keep their elbows tight and that'll keep their hands together. We want to stay inside the framework, kind of inside the numbers. The other thing is when kids get lazy with their feet, they get called for holding because a guy tries to move either left or right instead of moving their body with them. We want them to move their hips with them. They try to move their upper body and they get in a situation where they can hold somebody. So it's, part of it is just kind of our kids learning how to do those things, learning to really block with your hips and not really with your head and shoulders. The other side is good hand placement. And those things are both coachable, and we coach it every day, and hopefully we continue to improve it.
All right, you're listening to the Rocky Hidalgo Coaches Show on the Bishop Media Sports Network. We'll be right back with head coach Rocky Hidalgo right after this.
Relax. Misty's Element Massage specializes in helping you do just that. Located at 138 Village Market on St. Simon's Island, Misty's Element Massage offers deep tissue massages, therapeutic massages, scrubs, creams, body wraps, and much more. The perfect gift for that special someone, not to mention sports massages for that aching muscle. Schedule your appointment today at 912-224-0198 or on the web at mistyselement.com.
Bruce Kennedy Tire is your hometown destination for tires. Michelin, Goodyear, and all the brands you trust. But don't let the name fool you. Bruce Kennedy Tire, located at 2928 Norwich Street, does more than just tires. Brakes, alignments, repair work, and more than I can mention. Bruce Kennedy is locally owned and operated, so you get the best service in Glynn County. So give Bruce a call at 912-264-6578. Bruce Kennedy Tire, a name you can trust. Get affordable health care when you need it. At AppleCare Immediate Care, our team of compassionate healthcare providers is dedicated to treating each patient with the highest standard in healthcare. Located at 1111 Glynn Coach Parkway, AppleCare is open Monday through Friday, 7:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m., Saturday, 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m., and Sunday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. AppleCare welcomes all walk-ins from pediatric to adult ages and accepts most insurance plans. Visit us at applecaredoctors.com and like us on Facebook.
Hello, Glen Academy Red Terror fans. It's an exciting time of the year when football season starts. It's also an exciting time of the year if you are buying a home and need a great mortgage team on your side. The smart folks at Somerset Mortgage will help you lock in the best rates and closing costs, but more importantly, they have the patience and expertise you need to get you to the closing table. Call Somerset to find out more. 638-2020, conveniently located next to Outback on St. Simon's. Somerset, 638-2020.
It's time to get together with friends and family to enjoy great games, great food, and a great atmosphere at Loco's on St. Simon's Island. Loco's has something for everyone with their classic sandwiches, fresh salads, and specialty burgers. And Loco's award-winning wings, from traditional boneless or slow roasted, means it's time to get your wings on. With football season starting, don't forget to catch the game at Loco's too. Be sure to like Loco's on Facebook to keep up with the latest. Have your friends meet you at the Moose.
Welcome back to the Glynn Academy Red Terror Coaches Show with head coach Rocky Hidalgo on the Bishop Media Sports Network. I'm Kevin Price. We're on location at Loco's Grill and Pub on St. Simon's. This final segment brought to you by Misty's Element Massage, Bruce Kennedy Tire, AppleCare Immediate Care, and Somerset Mortgage. And Coach, just one last question about that game. When they kicked off, they seemed to be kicking off short, and I know Camden kind of did the same thing, and I know some teams do that, some teams kick it deep, and there's various reasons for that. But you've seen, Camden on tape, obviously, and Coffee on tape in several situations, but is that just something they do, or is that out of respect for the guys you have back there returning kicks?
Yeah, I think that's just kind of a game plan thing. I mean, obviously we've got some guys who can run the football back there, but they do that on tape. We really wish they would kick it deep so we'd have a chance to set a return up. I think we did better this week on our return on the pitch kick. We were trying to set it a little too deep against Camden. We didn't get a lot of. We didn't get a whole lot of positive yardage on it, but this week we had a couple of decent returns on it. So hopefully somebody will kick it back there. We can get something set up and get an easy score.
All right, well, let's turn our attention to this Friday night against Richmond Hill. It's the annual homecoming game. Just a public service announcement. The game will start at 6 o'clock and not 7:30, and that's because of some of the homecoming activities that will take place after the game. So 6 o'clock start for Glynn and Richmond Hill on homecoming night. And Coach, homecoming is one of those things where a lot of activities are going on all throughout the week, Monday through Friday. I know a lot of the head coaches kind of dread this week, as it's possible that the kids could get distracted and lose their focus on school and also the game on Friday night. So, in your past situations, how have you handled the homecoming week and just keeping the guys focused on the task at hand?
You know, for the most part, we want our kids to go out and be kids and enjoy it. So the Spirit Week, we let them dress up and do that. I'm not opposed to them doing those things. But the thing that we have to do is that from 3:30 to 6:30, we have to be at football practice. We've got to be focused on those things. We can't, we can't let the fact that it's superhero day just totally destroy football practice. Likewise with the game, I want to be excited about going to the dance post game or any of those things. But we've got to really focus on winning the football game. Nobody ever comes back 20 years and goes, "Oh man, do you remember homecoming dance night?" Nobody talks about that. People want to know if you won the game, and that's the most important thing. That's why we're all there. So we're going to have to preach to our kids to focus on the game, and really focus on what they've got to do to win. And it'll be interesting. We'll just kind of see how we do out there. And considering the last 2 weeks, we have a great opportunity to come to our place and beat a really good Richmond Hill team. Our kids should be focused and ready to go, and hopefully that'll be the case.
All right, this is the Glynn Academy Coaches Show with head coach Rocky Hidalgo on the Bishop Media Sports Network. And Coach, Richmond Hill played Ware County. They were supposed to play Friday. I think because of the weather they couldn't get it in, so they postponed kickoff until Saturday. And I think the score was 26-0 or 28-0 Ware.
Yeah, I think they played it about 1 in the morning. I think they kicked off like at 10:30 Friday night or something. They were delayed by lightning. They had evidently a fierce lightning storm. If I'd have known they'd have been delayed that much, we could have stopped off on the way back from coffee and watched the game, which would have been interesting. Just pulled up and stood in the end zone. We could all watch them play. But they've got a really good team. They're very well coached, very physical team. We watch them offensively, defensively. They got a lot of kids that really remind me of Jack Terry, who plays for us, kind of big muscular kids and hard-working kids, and they go out and they're physical guys and play their tails off. And it's kind of scary to go play a whole team full of those guys. But, they do a good job running the triple option. Their offensive line play is very good. They try to grind you into dust, make you tired, and win in the fourth quarter.
And like I said, I was going to ask you, they're still running the triple option. Is it basically what Georgia Southern and Georgia Tech does? They run the whole thing?
Yeah, you'll see them in the double slot. They run the midline, the inside veer. I've seen a little bit of outside veer with them, and rocket sweep. What you see out of Georgia Tech, what Georgia Southerners run traditionally. They do a really good job with it. Their fullback is a bruiser. I mean, he's a big, strong kid, breaks a lot of tackles. We'll have to do a great job of wrapping up and putting our head across his body to make sure we get him down. The hard thing about the triple option, especially a team like this, is creating negative plays. Usually they don't get a lot of negative plays. So it's 1st and 10, then it's 3rd and 2nd and 6. Then it's 3rd and 3 and 4th and 1, and I've been stuck in those games where those guys go for it 11 times on 4th down, and one time they got it 8, we lost. One time they got it twice and we won. So we've got to do a great job with those guys, and again, we got to fit and finish tackle. We've got to tackle really well. That's the thing is they're going to get opportunities to get one-on-one out in space. When they pitch the ball, we're going to have to come downhill and tackle.
And I know you mentioned their defense being physical, but what is their base defense?
They're a 4-2-5. It was tough getting film on them. Everybody they had played was kind of a wing T team or something like that. But it looks like they're a 4-2-5 team. Very very good football team. I mean, their linebackers are physical kids. They run downhill. They tackle well. Their defensive line is a group. They're not going to be easy to push around. They may not quite have the foot speed that Camden County or Coffee County had, but I think their kids are really, really good football players, very well coached. When you watch them, that's the thing that stands out to me, is how well coached they are. Run to the ball well and they play hard.
And you mentioned something briefly earlier. I was going to give you a chance to comment on the JV team, but it sounds like they played a good game this week. Anything you want to say on that one?
Yeah, we spent a lot of time the last couple of weeks really working those guys, and it's coming in late. We weren't able to really get a 9th grade schedule put together, and so our 9th graders and JV are all playing together down there. We got a lot of kids there. We went out and got up 27-0. We won big, and we got every kid in the program a chance to play, and that's huge. As much as I love winning. Everybody's excited about, hey, you beat Brunswick, all that. Going out and winning a big JV game and getting everybody in the game, that's just as important to me because I want all those guys coming back and having a good experience.
All right, and just one other thing. I know recruiting may have slowed down a little bit with everybody in the season, but is anybody getting any looks from anybody since the season started, or is there pretty much some of the same teams on some of the same guys that already were talking to?
Well, I think you'll see as the year goes on, colleges really, they'll start getting out to do a lot of recruiting here as the season starts to get later and later. Guys will get out on Fridays to come visit, and people will have more opportunities to go look at film. We've had some schools kind of call in about some of our kids, and we've sent them tape. We've got quite a few guys, drawing interest from colleges, and so hopefully all that stuff pans out. A big part of that is academics. We've got to get our kids to work in the weight room, the classroom. We've got to get their grades up. That's a big part of what we've got to do. It's important to me that our kids are not just qualifiers, but they're start to excel in the classroom. But I think you'll see probably 6 or 7 guys out of this class, maybe more than that, get an opportunity to go off and play college ball. Not all of them won't be at the University of Georgia, but I think we have some guys who have a chance to go play some small college ball. I played small college ball, so when people say I want to play at a big school, I take that as an insult. But we have some guys who can go off and be really good players at the Division III and Division II level, and we'll work hard to make sure they get an opportunity.
All right, Coach. Well, we'll certainly keep our eye on that. Coach the guys up this week and go out and beat Richmond Hill on Friday night. Again, the game at 6 o'clock, the homecoming game against Richmond Hill this Friday night at Glynn County Stadium. This has been the Rocky Hidalgo Show on the Bishop Media Sports Network. We'll be here each and every Sunday at Loco's Grill and Pub at 6:30 p.m. I'm Kevin Price, signing off.